So, got myself a new set of wheels. I got myself a Moto Guzzi V7 Stone. It is the second version, not the original, and not the version 3 that has just come out. I can already feel a few of you typing down below, so let me just address some of the more obvious points. Yes it is. Not really. It's agricultural at the end of the day. There isn't an awful lot to go wrong with it, and they've been making it for a fair old time. Okay, let me just clarify, although I say this bike is reliable, I am talking mechanically, not electronically, because, as you have already pointed out, it is Italian. Hey, they're not known for being electricians. They're artists, all right? Artists, mechanics, and plumbers. Woohoo! Here we go! Yeah, yes it does. Some of you will really enjoy that, some of you not so much. It's not fast. But if all you're looking for is speed, then don't buy it. Absolutely it will. Italians might compromise on a few things, there are a few things they absolutely won't. One is stopping and the other is going around corners, and this bike does both very well. Yeah, I do it really well. What of it? So if you two are tempted by this version, you will notice a few differences between them. The Moto Guzzi V7 in this guise came out in 2013. It was revamped in 2015 to 2016, which of course is what this is, and it's been revamped again for 2017 onwards. You'll be able to tell they'll either say V7, V7 2 or V7 3. You can get the original for around £4,000. This one I got for £5,000, and obviously the brand new ones are coming in at £8,000. Very few of them will have massive mileage because it isn't that kind of bike. Why did I go for version 2 over the original? Well, it's got 6 gears. To me that's important because I like to take my bikes, like is probably the wrong term, I do take my bikes occasionally on a motorway, I occasionally do long trips. So the fact that this can sit at speed slightly more comfortably is appealing. And why did I go for version 2 over the newest version? Most important point to me, it is more expensive and I don't think you get an awful lot more for your money. Let me clarify, they have been over the engine, they've been over the whole bike in fact, and improved it. You get slightly more performance from the engine, but they've maintained a lot of the same character. And you get a new digital display, but if I was going for the new one, I'd probably want the dual clock formation, which of course on the Stone for version 2 comes as standard. This one and the original have 48 brake horsepower and 40 foot-pounds of torque. And you're looking for that between about 5,000 and 6,500 revs. It has enough to chase, although it has a comfortable, wafty kind of torque to it. It's not going to punch you in the chest, it's not going to pull you off the seat, but it's perfectly fine. These are coming in at 189 kilograms dry. There isn't a huge difference between all three models. That is to say that they are around 200 to 210 with a full tank and everything else, which actually is a big point because they came with 21 litres, a 21 litre tank. I'll repeat it a third time, 21 litres. I've got friends with adventure bikes with less fuel capacity than this. It doesn't do amazing miles per gallon, but I can tell you from experience that you'll be able to get at least 230 miles because that's what I got door to door from London to Wales without filling up even once. That is a double-edged sword for one reason alone. You'll be able to notice when you have a full tank as opposed to when you have a low tank. If you were going to go and have a fast ride, I'd probably just stick 10 litres in it. The reserve is more than enough to give you a warning to go and fill up again, and you will be able to go faster when it is not full. If you're going to go and tour on it, fair enough, fill it to the brim. There is a small noticeable addition for the braking as well, in that the original had a slightly different master cylinder and Brembo pot, and by that I mean slightly better. They've skimped out a little bit on version 2 and they fitted it with the diaphragm as one piece, and it leaks. Again, I know from experience, and it's frustrating as hell because of course brake fluid is not something you want to get on the rest of the bike. Have no fear, if you do want to upgrade or you have any problems with yours, you can buy the original piece, which will be in the description. If any of you need it, if yours isn't working properly or you find that it is seeping out these two little eyelets at the back there, I will have the product number and possibly a link to the item in the description. Suspension is nothing to write home about. I'd say there are very few occasions where it would be. Dear Mum, my suspension is awesome. It is non-adjustable on the front, adjustable only for preload on the back, and it is on the soft side. I would say if you're getting up to speed, if you are going quickly, the rear is possibly a little bit too soft and it will squat down, which makes the front a little bit lighter. I wouldn't say it's bad by any standards, but it will depend on your taste. For the handling though, I have to say it does handle well. Drop it into a corner and you can very precisely pick your line. It has slow, deliberate handling, as they all do, because it has a relaxed headstock as well. 18-inch front wheel, 17-inch rear, everything is set up towards this thing having relaxed, deliberate, comfortable steering. It's actually probably what I describe as a bit of a cruiser, cafe racer hybrid. Drawbacks, shortfalls, there are a few, namely the electronics. There are occasions, and it seems fairly random when it actually will happen, but these lights will come on constant, which I think is the bike registering or telling me that there is a fault with the traction control and the ABS. They blink when you start it up, then you get up to speed, they are supposed to cancel and turn themselves off, and they do. Then you sit on a motorway at 70 miles an hour and occasionally you'll get a burning electronic smell, which would concern me if it affected how the bike ran or started, but it doesn't. Mechanically speaking, it's still fine, so I'm kind of just ignoring it, which isn't a great idea, but I don't know what that is and I can't find it on forums. So if you do know, please tell me, and please tell me it's not expensive. Another bit of a drawback for me is, although it works really well for a town, three things. One, the shaft drive when it shakes over takes a bit of getting used to if you are filtering. Two, the first gear isn't very tall, so actually if you're going around town you'll probably have to jump through first and second quite a lot, although when you're actually getting up to speed on some faster roads you don't really have to play around with gears all that much. The other thing you'll probably find frustrating in a town is the dry clutch and the clutch lever. It's not a light clutch by any standards. It doesn't require an awful lot of force, but if you're riding all day long you'll probably find by the end of the day your hand is cramping, especially if you're relatively arthritic like I am. And then the biggest drawback, I suppose, for myself, and it really is a big one, although I say the handling is smooth, it is comfortable, it is deliberate, it does not handle well in the wet. Part of that will be my tyres, I am sure, but I have spoken to other V7 owners and they tell me the same thing. Ride this thing in the wet and you'll be a little bit nervous of it slipping out or slipping over. I'm not here to tell you that this bike is absolutely right for everybody, because it just isn't. It suits me, it's a bike that I like, and it fits my circumstances. What do I love about it? In a nutshell, I love its versatility. It doesn't excel in any particular field, but it's very good in quite a few. I like the long wheelbase. I like the fact that it has slower, more deliberate handling. I like the fact that it doesn't have that much power that I can cheat myself into thinking I'm riding faster than I am. Because it's a little bit softer, because it takes a little bit more planning, I think it genuinely makes me a slightly better rider. And I really like the fact that it's not in competition with anyone else. The reaction you get from other people when they see you riding this thing is always friendly, is always courteous. Fair enough, it's lovely to have a sports bike, it's nice to go out and get something like a CBR, but everyone knows how quick that thing is, so you paint a target on your back for every legend killer that wants to come along. No one is in competition with this thing, so they don't expect you to go as quick as you do when you actually do ride it fast. But if I had to pick the ace card, in all honesty, it comes down to the exhaust and the engine noise. I've ridden a fair few bikes now, and genuinely, that's the nicest sound I've got out of any of them. Let me show you. There you go. Now that I've sufficiently pissed off the neighbours. Thanks for watching. See you soon.